Now that you've come into the church, you've received the gift of the Holy Ghost, you're being taught line upon line, you're going to be strengthened, and it's going to be easier to make those commitments. Now, that's just an example. I know I served my mission in Brazil. It would have been amazing to be able to baptize people without asking them to quit drinking coffee. All right? Would have been amazing. I would have baptized 3 times as many people easily. Okay? But my point is like that's an example of an adjustment that could be made that's not outside of what's written in the scriptures. It would just be like these keys could, it's something like that, which would seem like a very big change. Like, hey, that is actually just could be an interpretation of what's written. And so that's just the powers of the keys and the authority and the autonomy that the prophet has, the first presidency the prophet has. Like, if there was an inspired reason for doing so, like, these things would happen, and we should be open to these kinds of things, because that's the fun of having modern revelation. That's the fun of a living gospel, is that, like, it can be refined. Like, that's the fun of ongoing restoration, is that we can make it better. We can align ourselves more with the spirit of truth, always.
Well, and it always, the root is always leading to what makes sense for today to, again,
bring people to Christ.
Bring people to Christ, and then ultimately get them to the deeper ongoing covenants that they can enter into in the temple, to ultimately enter them into the patriarchal order that the Lord seeks for all of his children to engage in and to be part of. And so it's certainly that front end kind of preparatory phase that the church really administers and has oversight of, that can certainly evolve and adjust and change as time goes by. And that shouldn't bother any of us, because ultimately where we want people to get to, whatever changes have to occur to get them there, is how can we get them to enter into these additional sacred covenants so that they now become part of the patriarchal order that Christ seeks for them to be part of.
Another thing that's interesting, I didn't make a slide on this, but it says here that the hour cometh that I'm going to come and drink of the fruit of the vine with you on the earth. And then it goes into a whole spiel of, and also with Moroni, and with John the Baptist, and with Elias, and with Peter, James, and John. And he goes through all these dispensation heads and these great prophets, and he's saying, I'm going to be drinking of the fruit of the vine again with all of you. So there's obviously a reference to like a millennial situation. Okay. But it's, I don't know, it's really interesting because it's talking about this, like this great millennial sacrament meeting almost.
Give me a party, bro.
Well, it just kind of, it's going to be a party, a great sacrament party.
Don't miss out.
Now, it's also weird, like, does Jesus partake of the sacrament?
Jesus can do what he wants, man. If he wants to, so be it. I'm for it.
He wasn't saved by his own blood.
Well, yeah.
He does it as an example.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to be the case.
He likes the wine.
Well,
there's nothing wrong with that. He can do that. Okay. He likes the flavor.
That's I'm sure that's what he'll say. Yes, that will be the justification.
Thank you for watching. If you found this content spiritually enlightening, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Like the gospel, these little things make all the difference, and it helps the algorithm push out better content for everyone to enjoy on YouTube.